Bonjour! Bonjour!
No. Time for bladder check.
Check.
So it's a show?
It's a lifestyle.
It's a religion.
My emotions! My emotions!
I'm still French.
Ouais, c'est pas faux.
I'm a woman, Mary. I can be as contrary as I choose.
Non, moi je crois qu'il faut que vous arrêtiez d'essayer de dire des trucs.
Hello, hi, I'm Laura. I'm gonna watch Death Note Season 1, Episode 12. Normally, today I'm gonna watch 2 episodes, maybe 3 if I have the time. I will see that. I'm so glad to be back for Death Note. I edited the episode 11 just some days ago and I'm still into it. Oh, and fair warning also for you, I'm sorry for the version that I was forced to upload on YouTube. I had a lot of issues with it, with the copyright. You know that on Patreon I put the full reaction part for this episode. I think that it was the second time that I put a full reaction part for an episode of Death Note. But for YouTube, like usually, I was planning to post you a version, you know, an 8-minute version, like always, like what I'm doing for episodes of Death Note and also of The Legend of Korra and also of Avatar The Last Airbender. For short episodes like that, it's 8 minutes. And it didn't work at all and I was forced to cut and cut and cut into it. I don't know, but I think that at the end it was just 6 minutes long when you imagine that I thought that it was so interesting and that I reacted so much and that this episode was so good and that I had so many things to talk about and all that I put the full reaction part on my Patreon. So really I'm sorry for that, for the version that you had on YouTube, but be sure that it was not the one that I planned. And that's why I'm so glad that I have my Patreon. Really, it's less frustrating for me, even if it was, you know, to cut and cut into this version for YouTube. I think that I did 7 different versions. It's a lot. Okay, Death Note, I'm glad to be back. The last episode was so great, so cool. I really watched it and I was so invested into it, like it was an episode, you know, for an action movie, an action show. Like it would have been okay to have that kind of moment, since, you know, like the one with lights that coming like that into the place and all. That moment, it would have been okay to have it in an episode of La Casa de Papel, Money East, an episode of Prison Break, an episode, you know, something like that, an action show. How I was really focused into it. That was so great. I admire Lightstad so much. That's it. I love this character. I already knew it before. Now I'm beyond sure I love him. And for sure, Light, you can't kill your dad at any moment. Like, no, you can't. We have a new Shinigami who gave a new Death Note to a new person who is a fan of Light, who is trying to impress Light, and was the eye, which is bad, which is which is bad for Earl, you know, because we don't want her to discover his identity, which is good for Light because he can use her to get her identity. But does he really want someone, you know, Light as a companion? Does he want a friend? Does he want an ally? I'm not sure. He has such a strong ego. It's really his weakness. I said it a lot. His ego can lose him. And yes, Light being okay to have someone with him, if that someone is acting like a slave, you know, is obeying to his orders and all, yes, but that someone, that girl, she seems unpredictable. She seems that she didn't get at all what Light was doing, you know, all of these ideas that she has about creating a new world without bad people and all. She didn't do that, that girl. She killed innocent people, you know, this journalist and all, just to prove her power. And she's trying to impress people, and that can be bad. Light said it. Maybe they're gonna guess also what about the Death Note, you know, what the Death Note can do and the fact that there is a Death Note. She gave a lot of clues to the cops in a short time. Elle guessed it, that there is a fake Kirra. She killed innocent people also according to light principles. You know what I think about that, but according to him it was bad also. And at the end she's saying that if Kirra is not on the same page than her, she's stronger than him. So what does it mean? That she's ready to fight him also? That's gonna be interesting, even more because of the fact that Light wants to be with the cops. The cops and Elle, they know that there is another Kirra, but they're not gonna say it to Light to still continue this investigation on him to see how he's gonna react and all. That game, you know, that cat and mouse game, it's such an interesting one and it's so great to follow it, and each time these writers, they managed to surprise me by doing unpredictable things, like during the last episode, how I could have imagined that we were gonna have another Shinigami, you know, another Death Note, that person, that this person was already gonna have the eye, that this person was the one who sent the tapes. It was impossible to predict that. Like I said during the review of the last episode, I'm trying to guess things, you know, I'm trying to make theories, but with what you gave to me, with things that you already gave to me, I can't anticipate the new things that they're gonna create, the new characters that they're gonna create. I'm saying that like I'm sorry about it, not at all. It's just to tell you that even if I'm making theories, even if I'm spending a lot of time trying to guess what is gonna happen and all, be sure that I know that this is not gonna happen, that I'm seeing stuff which are wrong. But it's okay, it's a game. The game that these writers want for their viewers. So I'm okay with that. I'm playing their game. Okay, I'm gonna stop this intro right now and I'm gonna go for this episode 12. Like always, you have my Patreon on which you can add the episodes earlier. It's 1 week earlier for now, I think. Go check that on the description, and with an extended or a full reaction part. Like I said, for the last episode I put the full reaction part. And again, the version that you had on YouTube sucked. And I know it, and it's not because of me. Be sure of that. I had to make 7 different versions of this video. So if you want what you deserve, you know, the full reaction part, at least all of the reactions that I wanted you guys to see, all of the thoughts that I wanted to share with you, go on my Patreon. Let's go for this episode 12.
Well then, we need to ask Ryuke to assist us.
But wouldn't that make working together a bit difficult?
He's right. Why even bother asking him to work with us?
Because he's one of your main suspects.
But the basis for the second Kirra theory is that the victims of these recent killings were minor criminals who don't fit the normal profile. How would Light ever know that?
Yes, but there's more to it than that. The suspect that we've been pursuing up until now has needed both a name and a face to kill his victims. If he comes to the conclusion that there could be a second suspect, then he'd be almost completely cleared of suspicion in this case.
Are you suggesting that if my son does not come to the same conclusion, there's an even greater chance that he is guilty?
No.
I'm feeling so sorry for you. He wants to believe into his son.
You're so mediocre. It's making me sick to my stomach.
Aha! I said it during the last episode. This fake Kirra, she made him lose a lot of credibility.
It's probably best if I say nothing. If I just leave it alone, Elle dies.
So, what do you make of this, Light?
Your eyes.
Damn, it's a test. It's hard to say for sure, but there might be another person out there with Kirra's power. It's extremely out of character for him to use these kinds of victims for his killings.
We also believe that this is the work of a second Kirra.
I knew it.
It was a
So
test.
You've been a great help. It's decided then. First, we must focus on stopping this copycat. The
For
real
that,
killer
you want the
that
same
practices-
thing.
No, and Light, I would like you to play the part of the real Kirra.
Huh? Me as Kirra?
Aha!
At any rate, we don't have time to waste. Do you think you could script
Oh,
a
you're
message from
playing a
Kirra
risky
in time for
game,
the air
Ew.
of this evening's national news?
And Light also.
I think I managed to make it believable. I was improvising. Feel free to change it to whatever you like.
Sounds good.
You're so confident on yourself. You're so arrogant.
And now a shocking announcement. In response to the frightening Kira video,
Everyone knows that now there is a fake Kirra.
I knew he'd answer me.
The true Kira, but I want to make it absolutely clear that the taking of innocent lives is against my will. This person claiming to
Okay, she already had the patience, you know, for this.
Ryuzaki, we have a reply from the second Kira.
What?
Really?
Already?
Kira, thank you for your reply. Please do not worry. I'm following orders and do as you say.
How could you fall for something like this?
Now you're calling her stupid.
I don't think you have the eyes.
What the hell is he thinking? Talking about Shinigami eyes in a public message like this.
Identities by showing our Shinigami to each other.
Shinigami?
She said the word! Hell?
Am I supposed to believe that Shinigami actually exist?
What was this reaction, Em? I think that for someone who is all about logical things and all to believe...
Listen to yourself, of course Shinigami don't exist. If this was the same person, it's highly unlikely he would have responded to our video in the first place.
And reveal all of that.
You have already met and decided to use the word Shinigami as a way to confuse us. If the two Kiras were connected, I don't think the imposter would be so willing to give up on his plan to kill me. I believe his actual motivation is to meet the original.
He's not fully convinced. We know that he's functioning, you know, with probabilities and all. He's gonna keep that idea in mind.
I imagine that the second Kira is probably quite satisfied with the current situation. Now, if I were Kira himself, my priority would be to prevent this imposter from coming into contact.
Two imposters if you are Kirra and out of the room.
The real Kira may feel pressured to respond this time. For one, he might reveal more information that he knows Kira wants kept secret. To pressure him into a meeting, of course, that would make Kira nervous.
I'm telling you, these are gonna knock him dead. You look like a little angel, Lisa.
Angel upstairs.
For Shinigami to give a notebook to a human, he needs to have two, because he somehow found a way to sneak an extra one past the Shinigami King.
The Shinigami King isn't someone who's easily fooled. I'm one of the few in the Shinigami realm who knows how to kill another of my kind. That's how I just happened to be around when he died. It was coincidence, really.
How do you kill a Shinigami? I have to know.
I learned the only way to kill a Shinigami is to make them fall in love with a human.
How can it be?
There once was a Shinigami named Jealous. Jealous wanted nothing more than to look at her as she went about her daily life. It's today, isn't it? Her last day alive.
She looks so full of life. It's just not fair.
They have feelings,
It
Shinigami.
was nighttime and she was walking alone. Wait, stop it! What are you doing?
Trying to avoid all this.
Jealous used his death note to kill the man instantly, and therefore save the girl's life. Shinigami exist only to shorten and take human lives. We aren't permitted to undo that which has been fated. This became something which was neither sand nor rust and disappeared forever.
It's poetic, you know.
So not only had he saved her life, he'd accidentally extended it well beyond its natural end.
All this time I thought it was luck, but it was a Shinigami who saved my life that day.
Jealous loved you enough to die for you. So that death note is now yours to keep.
It was you?
For a Shinigami to die, they have to love a human enough that they prevent their death from happening. I asked him on TV to find a way for us to meet each other, but he hasn't replied to me yet. What's taking him so long?
Wait for it. She's too impatient.
A strawberry sundae, please.
Of course, be right back.
What should I do?
You can't know recognize each other, or maybe your Shinigami can recognize each other.
Enjoy. I wonder, what kind of person are you, imposter?
Aha!
I wonder, what kind
I don't think that a love relationship is possible between the two of you. You have your two Shinigami right there, you know, with them. They can't see each other and you can't see the Shinigami of someone else. It would be too easy. First part of the episode, it was about Light being accepted into the cops' forces, you know, and everyone being on the same page. We have two Kirra, we have to do stuff with it. And second part of the episode, it was to know more about that girl. I can't remember her name. I can't hide it after the last episode that I loved so much, that I was excited about it during it. I was so involved and all. This one was much more calm and maybe less exciting also. It was interesting. All of what happened was interesting, but you know, we had several episodes with Elle telling all of the truth to Light. I'm Elle. You are one of our main suspects. You know, a lot of things, unpredictable things, and a lot of mad things, a lot of reveals. And after that, this episode with so many moments of action into it and all, that really this episode is way calmer. I appreciate it no matter what, but it's giving me less things to think about. Okay, so the test, Light passed it. He knows that there is a fake Kirra. He already knew it, but now he said it to the cops. The cops and him, they know that there is a fake Kirra. They want to trap him, not for the same reasons, but for that they're on the same page. Something which is more complicated is the fact that right there, Elle asked to Light to be a third Kirra, another fake, to provoke the first fake Kirra. And after that, when the first fake Kirra responded, Elle said, no, we're not gonna respond because we want the real Kirra to respond. And it's brilliant because in a way, if you think that Light is not Kirra, you think that Kirra is now dealing with two imposters. And if you think that Light is Kirra, I mean Elle, it means that you tried to trap him just right there by making him a fake Kirra, knowing that he's a true Kirra, to see what he was gonna do, how he was gonna react, and all. The fact that she said about the Shinigami, about the ice, I mean, you just have to make researches about the Shinigami, the ice and all to understand what this is about. Into that culture and all, they know what the Shinigami can do or not, they know about the Death Note, they know about the ice. It can explain so many things, you know, about killing people just by knowing their names and faces. So I don't think that Elle totally erased that theory from his mind. Right there, okay, Light managed to convince him that no, it's not possible and all, but still we know Elle, how he's functioning, and the fact that he loves probabilities and all, so he's not gonna erase that little probability that maybe this is real, the Shinigamis are real and all. How he reacted, Elle, it really surprised me because he was really not just terrified, it was really like his whole world being destroyed in just 1 second. For me, I really felt it like that, and I'm explaining it, that feeling that I have about how he feels, because of the fact that Elle, you know, is really a pragmatic guy, is really all about logic and all. So if you are bringing into the equation something religious, something supernatural, a Shinigami, a Death Note, you know, something like that, he can't believe into it. It's not something that he can add like that into his world. It's something which is not existing for him into his world, you know, to believe in something supernatural and all. It's really like destroying all of his world, all of his way to see the world, all of his way to calculate things about the world, if he has to bring that into the equation, it can destroy his world, but also, I think, really disturb him a lot. It can be his weakness, you know, to not accept this existence of the Shinigami and all, because of the fact that he's too pragmatic. You know, I'm seeing a lot that Light, his big weakness, it's his ego, the fact that he's so arrogant and all. I think that L, his big weakness can be that he's too pragmatic, he's calculating probabilities and all, like, it's all about reason, but there is something not reasonable, you know, with the Shinigami, with the Death Note, with how all of that is functioning. Maybe he's gonna lose time understanding what is happening right there just because of the fact that he can't believe into it, it's not acceptable into his world. Do you understand what I mean? Light, how he reacted during that moment, like, ooh, they can't see that I'm disturbed, really, it's too much, what are you saying? This girl, so she's a model during the day, and during the night, she's a death lover. And now she has a Death Note. That death lover has a Death Note. And she wants to impress Kirra. I'm glad that I was right about the fact that Light doesn't appreciate at all that Fake Kirra. The idea of having the company of someone, of having a friend, an ally, because he can't think like that. Light, you know, is too proud of himself to want to have some company. He just wants to keep the control on things, which means that he has to be all alone. And with all of what she did, killing innocent people according to him, to his principles, he didn't want to kill that kind of people. It's not right according to how he's seeing Kirra and Kira's mission. That she's unpredictable, he can't control her, and she just said stuff about the Shinigami, the Death, not the Death Note, but the eyes. She's not gonna stay alive for a long time, I don't think so. Which is bad because she's fun as a character in a weird way. I don't trust her, I don't like her for now, maybe I'm gonna like her in the future, but for now I don't like her. But she's fun as a character, she's bringing something new into the show, like for now we had a lot of serious characters, a lot of really intense characters, clever, and you know, that game, I love to play it, but I'm glad to have another character who is funnier, you know. Maybe she can be that touch, you know, into the anime, maybe. Or maybe not, because I really think that she's gonna die. But it means that you're gonna have to meet. How can you organize a reunion, a meeting with everyone watching your videos like that? You're not gonna be the only ones who are gonna guess, you know, where you have to meet and all. I really think that it has to be organized through your Shinigami. That flashback, I don't know how to say it, you know, with the Shinigami story, how can we kill a Shinigami with love? It was beautiful, it was really poetic, the sound helped a lot during that moment, but it was also sad in a way, and I think that there is a lot to think about with that situation, because I said it since episodes, I have the impression that Ryuke is getting more and more involved into what Light is doing. He helped him by telling him that the FBI agent was spying on him. He helped him by telling him where all of the cameras are. Like, you are supposed to be just a viewer, Ryuke, to not be involved in all. And right there, I have the impression that he's getting more and more involved. Ryuke, can he, at some point, can he sacrifice himself for Light? You know my theory that I have since the beginning about that story being the story of how Light is gonna become a Shinigami. Can it be in fact about how Ryuke is gonna stop to be a Shinigami? Or maybe both? In fact, maybe it can be the story of both of these things. I don't know, but for me, yes, now I'm gonna keep that theory in mind that at some point maybe Ryuke is gonna sacrifice himself to help Light to survive to a situation, you know, Light was supposed to die and Ryuke is not gonna be okay with that, and it's gonna make him avoid that death for Light to not be killed, and because of that Ryuke is gonna disappear. I don't know. Yes, I think that this story was beautiful and poetic, but also interesting, and I have to keep it in mind. Okay, I'm gonna stop this video right now and I'm gonna watch one more episode, maybe two, I will see that. It's all for you for today and it's all for me for now, so bye for now, bye!
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Crazy.